Hello everybody and happy Sunday to you. This is Asia, owner of Denson Construction Services and DCS Investments here in Detroit, Michigan. And I'm here to give you all an update on what's been going on in the city. I know I haven't done a video since seems like forever, but I apologize for that. We're really busy, so which is a good thing. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the updates on the developments that I was telling you all about in my older videos, I think it was in December or January of this year. So the first one is the M1 Railroad. The construction started on July 28th, and I think it's supposed to go until whenever the season converts or whatever, to when it just gets beyond bearable, which would probably be October, November-ish, or they might allow them to work throughout the winter, but I'm not really sure. But I know construction is supposed to be all the way completed sometime in 2015, like November or October. So that's awesome. Now, if you don't recall, the M1 Railroad is the little 3-4 mile stretch from downtown Detroit, Campus Martius Park, to the Boulevard in Woodward, which is the new center area. And this is kind of, the test run to see how, this railroad is going to go. Because the ultimate goal is for it to go all the way up to 8 Mile, where the new Myers and is going on. And then from Mount Clemens to, Ann Arbor, I believe, and possibly Pontiac. Alright, next up, an old building downtown Detroit with, I forgot how many lots, but it was a lot. It sold for a total of $7.8 million. This is crazy. Now this was lots, grass might have been cut, who knows. Well, possibly because it's downtown, so they're not going to have that. But it was just an old dilapidated building. It still sold for $7.8 million. They're probably going to put $2-3 million or more into it. And I'm pretty sure they're going to turn it into lofts or condos or something of the sort, because it's just this huge, great migration to downtown and midtown Detroit right now. So I'll keep you updated on that. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about the water shutoff that's going on. I mean, this made worldwide news about, the human rights and the economy in Detroit. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit, because I really think that is bigger than a human right issue. You have to think, Detroit is one of the few major cities that supplies, I think it's like a third of the water either to America or to the world. Don't quote me on that, but you can Google it. It's actually a documentary out right now about it, and I'll try to find a link and post it in the comments for you. But yeah, it's huge, because you have to think, water is an asset, which is a commodity. No matter what goes on in America or in the world, people need water and food to survive, period. Actually, you can survive on water well before you need to eat, another meal or something. So yeah, this is serious business. So I'll keep you posted on that, because it's pretty huge. Now, I understand some people really can't afford to pay their water bills, which is understandable, being that the economy in Detroit right now is not that great as far as jobs and stuff. But then again, it all depends on your education and your background. So that makes a difference too. But then you got the other percentage of people who are just screw it, I'm not about to pay this bill, I'll pay it whenever. In Detroit's I've had enough of that. Set up all these payment plans, and every single one you've missed and failed to make that payment. So we come to cut your shit off on the 2nd, and yes, today is the 28th. It's happening. It's been happening. So I'll keep you updated on that too. Alright, next up, grant money for rehabs. Alright, I know y'all know about the big land bank auction that's going on here. It's been a huge success. Houses are starting at $1,000 and selling upwards of, I think the highest one I've seen so far is about $100,000, but that was about a month or two ago, so I'm sure this succeeded that amount. Okay, now, if you live in the Marygrove neighborhood, which is an awesome neighborhood by Marygrove College, which is a 6 Mile in Livernois area, crossing over to Lodge, Wyoming, up in there somewhere. I don't know the exact borders off the top of my head, but you're talking about 6 Mile, Wyoming, 6 Mile, Livernois area, to the Lodge, and probably down to Finkel. Alright, so you get this house, right? And so the rules of the auction is, within the first 6 months, you have to have this house habitable and up to current 2014 Michigan Residential Building Code. I think that is fucking awesome, because you got all these people out here who just live and work out of their truck, doing all this half-ass work, and they're getting the money, and the work is still not right. So Detroit is making it to where you have to have a licensed contractor to pull these permits, and the house has to be habitable, and you have to live in there, not your mom, your cousin. You can't rent it out, you can't Section 8 nothing. You yourself have to live in this property, which I think is great. Alright, so Chase Bank and Liberty Bank are the people who are funding these loans for people to fix up these properties for rehab in that Marygrove district. Now, I don't know if this is like a test run to see how people do it and how they receive to it or whatever, but I'm pretty sure they might end up expanding it to other districts that's being auctioned off, because you have the North End district right now, which I've been telling people about, that if you need a property there, you might want to hit me up, because houses in the North End are still retardedly cheap, and that's not going to last for long, because that's part of the M1 Railroad too. So yeah, and they're giving out grant money in those areas too, up to 20 grand. Plus, banks are, I'm not sure what banks though, I think it's Chase, but don't quote me on that. They're matching this grant money. So if you get a $20,000 grant, which means you don't have to pay about back, but I'm sure there's some type of stipulation to where you got to live in a house 7 to 10 years and, you know, blah, 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 and keep the taxes up to date. I'm sure some type of stipulation. They're not just going to give you money to fix your house up and then you sell it. But they're giving you 20 grand in the grant money. And on top of that, Chase Bank or whatever the bank is, they're matching that money. So now you have 40 fucking $1,000 to go into this one house, which is amazing. 40 grand, you can do a whole lot with your house with 40 grand. So I think that is awesome. So hopefully that's not just a pilot. They will continue that. Alright, next up, we got this new $148 million manufacturing institute in Corktown. Now, Corktown is kind of like the Irish area of Detroit, which has always been beautiful. You still got brick paved roads down there. A lot of the older mom and pop bar and grills and pubs are there. Food Network was down there, Man versus Food, a couple years ago at the barbecue joint, Slows. Great barbecue. So they were there. So that's awesome. So they're talking about having this manufacturing institute there. Well, not talking about, they're actually in the works of renovating or building whatever they're going to do down there. So, because, you know, manufacturing is pretty huge in Michigan. So they do need some type of place to educate these people within the city, so they won't have to go out the city to get this education, because everybody doesn't have cars. Some people take the bus. So, you know, that's awesome. Alright, next up, the Red Wing Stadium. This is huge. They rezoned this fucking area so they can build this damn stadium. So obviously this area was only zoned for apartment buildings, liquor stores, and schools, and townhouse and condos. Pretty much residential, a little commercial with the schools or whatever, and apartments. But that's pretty much it. So they passed and rezoned this area so they can break ground and start building, which I think they started like last week. They're also seeking more minority contractors to bid on this. It was an open bid maybe a month ago. They had this big meeting. I'm sure they're going to have another one. The only thing that stops a lot of minority contractors, from what I personally noticed, is the paperwork. Most are not licensed. Most are not insured, bonded, or they don't have workman's comp. Thank God I'm licensed, I'm insured, I'm not bonded, I don't have workman's comp, and I'm probably not going to ever get it until it's required for me to get it. So most jobs, you really just need to be licensed and insured, and then other bids as they come, it'll tell you if you need workman's comp or whatever certifications you'll need. So I personally want to recommend that you just go out and start paying all this money for stuff you don't need until you really need it. But you do need the license and insurance. You need that just to do, hell, go fix somebody's damn sink, you know, these days. So yeah, that's that. Also, with this new Red Wing Stadium, they are allowing, they had a big event here a week ago called Detroit Homecoming. So if you used to live in Detroit, black, white, Puerto Rican, whatever your nationality may be, they had this big thing. And what they did there was they're now starting to offer lots of land near this Red Wing Stadium to former residents. Now, I don't know if it's just former residents or current residents. I think it should be whoever the hell can afford to pay for one, because you're damn sure I'm going to find out, because I'm a current resident, and damn it, I want a piece of that land down there, because that's going to be some huge property. I mean, because that's turning into a new, that's going to be a new district, because now you got Comerica Park, which is maybe a mile from this new stadium, and Ford Field, which is all going to be within a mile or two walking distance. You have Motor City Casino and Gym Casino, right? That's going to be like maybe a couple blocks from this. So this is about to be a huge district. But on the flip side, this is also known as Cass Corridor, which is Prostitute City. And you're going to have to clean that shit up. But I'm already starting to see a clean up on that, because you can't have this new stadium with people and their children and families walking down throughout downtown to where it's going to pretty much be a walkable city down here. And you got these holes on the block, so you just can't have that. So, yeah. Next up, Myers. Myers, now you know that Major Johnson and his development fund put the new big fancy Myers and shopping center on 8 Mile and Woodward, which is now the #1 grocery store in the state of Michigan, which is awesome. So because of that, they're going to continue their commitment to the city and open up a second Myers location, which is going to be Grand River and 6 Mile. Well, McNichols to the people who are not from here area. That is where the old Redford High School used to be located. So they tore that down a couple years ago and they bought the land, blah, blah, blah. So now they broke ground, I think maybe the beginning of the summer. So I think that'll be open probably in like another year or so, maybe. So that's awesome. Another thing, Whole Foods, you know, they opened up their first store in the city about a year or two ago, and this their #1 store as well in the state of Michigan, and they're planning to open up a second store in Detroit as well. I don't know the location yet, but this just was announced during the Detroit homecoming event. And everything that I'm letting you all know is posted on my Google Plus business page and my Facebook business page. So if you just go to Google Plus and go to Denson Construction Services, you'll see every single link and article to what I'm speaking to you about today. And on my Facebook business page. It's a lot, so you'll just probably have to search and filter through it. And my LinkedIn page as well. Alright, next up we're going to talk about major retailers coming to the city. Possibly Qdoba. I think that's like Mexican food or something. I've never been there. And Rally House candy stores. Now, I'm kind of... I don't know about this candy store place because Detroit already has one historical place called Rocky's, which is the fucking shit. If you're a little kid, it's like amazing there. You can buy all type of penny candy, like the bazooka candy that when I was a kid, they still sell that shit there. You can buy it in bulk. Amazing. So I don't know how that's going to compete with that. Maybe it depends on where the location is. If it's like in downtown Detroit, some people in the city might have an issue with that because Detroiters are kind of die hard for the old school stuff that's been here before everybody else wanted to start coming here, you know, while everybody else was scared. So I don't know how that's going to work out. But them, Cato Fashions, they're talking about coming here. Rue 21, of course, the other Myers and possibly Whole Foods. Planet Fitness, there's already an Anytime Fitness in downtown Detroit in a YMCA. And Garrett's Popcorn out of Chicago, they're even in talks about putting a location here. That'd be awesome. Their Chicago mix is the bee's knees. And I think that's it for retailers. And then last but not least, I'm going to talk to you all about, one second. Oh, real estate money. Alright, Dan Gilbert, you know, he pretty much owns, if not half or 100%, hell, it gotta be at least 75 to 80% of downtown Detroit. And he's also starting to buy in the Mexican town, which is a hot area. Very nice, because it borders too much. Like, it's just a bomb. So Dan Gilbert buys the former Globe Tobacco Company for $3.3 million in Detroit. Now, in the article, he states that he's probably going to turn it into, I'm sure, probably office space or something in the middle. Probably like a mixed-use building, which would probably be good because, once again, living downtown Detroit in Midtown is like the bomb right now. Like, if you got a building down there, you're probably going to get at least no less than $1,000 a month rent. And who knows the size of that apartment space is going to be. And I say that because the vacancy rate right now is really, really low for these areas because nobody's leaving. And you got so many people that steady coming here and it wants to live in Midtown and downtown Detroit to where you kind of have to expand to the little communities right outside, which will be West Village or, Lafayette Park area, Cork Town, Mexican Town, all that's kind of right outside downtown, North End. So you kind of have to expand into these areas because you have people now who have like small families who don't want a loft or a condo. They want a house. And then these houses are not, well, they're habitable, but they're like 1962 habitable with pink and green tile or black and mint green or hell, all black and white. I've seen it all like a damn chessboard. But yeah, so most people, especially in my generation, we don't want that. We want to just move into something that all you got to do is hang my damn clothes up. So we're going to see how that works out. So pretty soon I'll definitely be getting into fixing flips myself. I'm sorry, fixing flips myself, not flicks. But yeah, so if you're a hard money lender and you're looking at this, yeah, please call me or email me because I'm definitely in need of fundings because I have this one buyer who is buying 50 plus houses a month in the Metro Detroit area. So that's like the West Side Detroit area. Redford, Warren, Sterling Heights, probably Pontiac, Farmington Hills, Oak Park, you know, all those nice areas with homes. So that's where people want to go. So yeah, if you're a hard money lender, please holler at me. Alright, next up, $195 million from Governor Snyder is coming to Detroit to help with our current bankruptcy. Now, this is kind of suspicious to me because this is just my own opinion, which probably doesn't matter to anybody, but I don't know. I mean, Detroit's always been broke, and now all of a sudden we're getting $105 million. Maybe it's a political stunt. I really don't know because I'm not really a political person, so I'll leave that at that. But either way it goes, it's still awesome because, hell, we need it. So I guess the 195 will help go towards our creditors' debt or maybe to improve the city. I really don't know. There hasn't really been any type of plan or proposal released on that. So I'll make a note to keep you all updated on that as well. Oh yeah, once again, at the Detroit Homecoming event, they're offering lots to former Detroit residents, development by the new Red Wing. So I'm definitely going to see if that's just current residents or former residents like they said, which I think it should be open to everybody. I mean, if you got the money, hell, why can't you buy it? But that's just my opinion, which probably doesn't matter again. And last but not least, Warren Buffett, the great Warren Buffett. Now, he was in Detroit last year with Goldman Sachs, I believe it was, at Ford Field. They had some type of small business fair, and Goldman Sachs is, I think they're still doing this. They're giving out up to, I think, $150,000 or $200,000 loan to small businesses who just need a little financial push. Now, I'm sure there's all kind of requirements and stipulations to that, but what they are, I don't really remember, and I apologize for that. But I do believe you had to gross at least $100,000 or $150,000 either in 1 year or over the course of 3 years or every year or something like that. But I still think it's amazing because you still have people that's still kind of skeptical about Detroit, and then you got a lot of people who's like, screw it, I'm taking a limb because Detroit is one of the only area that I know of, and if I'm wrong, please post in the comments and correct me on this, that I know of that you can buy a house between $5,000 and up to $50,000. Well, really, $30,000 with rehab included. Maybe add 10% for contingencies or whatever. And you can still rent that property out between $600 and $1,300 a month. That is why you have a lot of people who come to Detroit to buy. You have a lot of people who are moving here from, I went out to a customer's house a couple weeks ago. They just moved here from freaking Utah. Like, really, you came to Detroit? And I mean, they're like literally in Detroit. Not the burbs, not on the outskirts. They're like east side, Jefferson, and Connor area of Detroit. Which is not a bad area if you're on this side of Jefferson. But if you're on this side of Jefferson past Kirchville, a little rough over there. But hey, more power to you. Like, so they bought this huge dumbass brick family flat and renovated. Like, it's gorgeous. And I really love the fact that they kept a lot of the original woodwork. Because you get a lot of people who move here. And Detroit is known for their brick houses, and the woodwork on the inside is just immaculate in some of these older homes, especially when you get into like the villages like Western Indian Village and Boston Edison District and Sherwood Forest. You know, those houses are just freaking amazing. Like, you got the handcrafted crown molding or whatever, and it's just beautiful. I'm sorry I had a moment. But yeah, so Warren Buffett, back to him, he gives Detroit the green light to come here and buy. Now, I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett, he's a very, very intelligent man. I'm pretty sure he already done bought what the hell he's going to buy here in Detroit. So, either way it go, I think is awesome. So, I've been talking to y'all for almost 19 minutes. Wow, I can't believe that. But anyway, if you've made it this far, I appreciate it. You're awesome today if nobody told you. Please leave me a comment below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Instagram, YouTube. Well, subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Google Plus under Asia Denson and or Denson Construction Services, preferably my business because I'm converting everything to straight business stuff. Or LinkedIn, which is under my personal as Asia Denson, and Facebook page Denson Construction Services. So, hit that subscribe button down below. Have a great Sunday. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave comments, positive or negative. I'm open to feedback. And I didn't curse a lot. So that's great. I'm improving. Alright, y'all. Have a good day. Deuces.